Hi everyone, Christoph the Polish Geek, and welcome to the video game review of Star Wars The Phantom Menace, the video game. And this is one of those video games I've been playing so much in my childhood, actually. Like, the first thing we're gonna talk about is that yes, I've been into Star Wars ever since I was 5 years old, and Star Wars The Phantom Menace was actually the very first Star Wars movie that I have seen, actually, and I remember loving it so much. And then me and my father went to this game exchange center, which were a huge thing in Poland when I was a kid. It's like, there was basically this like market full of video games, and yeah, one of them was Star Wars The Phantom Menace. And as soon as I saw Star Wars, like, as this little kid sees candy and demands, I want this game. I mean, I was a 5-year-old kid, but whatever. As soon as I saw Star Wars, I really wanted it bought for me, which my dad did, and then I spent so much of my childhood playing this game and decided to take a look, does it actually hold up? Like, do I still love it as much as I did as a little kid? Because newsflash, I generally don't like video games based on movies, because here's the thing, like, why? Like, I view it as nothing more than just basically a repetition of the whole movie. Like, yeah, as a kid, I frequently played video games based on movies. I had Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, and all the Harry Potter games. Yes, as a kid, I very much played video games based on my favorite movies. Not so much now, but I actually think Phantom Menace, the video game, has plenty of things to kind of make it its own unique entity from the movie, while still very much based on it, but we'll get to that later. Now, the important thing I have to say is that the clips that you're gonna see in this retrospective actually are clips from the digital remastered PlayStation 5 version, because I tried putting it in my PC and it sadly didn't work. Like, my PC is clearly too new to play all the video games like that. So that's why the clips you're gonna see here are gonna be from the digital PlayStation 5 version. Although, also the thing we have to get out of the way, I do think that the PC version is clearly the superior version, with the graphics being much better. I mean, still pretty old, but still I think much better and more detailed and more clear than the graphics in the PlayStation version, which I presume is the PlayStation 5 version. I mean, I presume the digital PlayStation 5 version is based on the PlayStation 1 version, and also the gameplay was much less clunky in the PC version, and it felt so much less limited. So yes, the PC version is clearly the much superior version, but because sadly there's no way I can play it on my new PC now, that's why the clips on this video are gonna be from the digital PlayStation 5 version. But how does the game hold up, actually? Is it as good as I remember it in my childhood? I generally don't like video games based on movies. I mean, why do we need them? I have the movie if I want a story of the movie, but as a kid though, I very much did often play video games based on my favorite movies. Like, I had all the Harry Potter games and Star Wars games too, as well as the Lord of the Rings games. However, what I do like about the Phantom Menace game is that it's similar enough to the movie that it's clearly very much based on it, and it's recognizably the same story and the same universe, but different enough to feel like its own unique entity. Like, some things are expanded or shown from a different character's point of view. Like, for example, while Anakin does go to a Jedi Council on Coruscant, Captain Panaka gets his own level to himself, something that wasn't shown in the movie, and Queen Amidala gets kidnapped and he has to rescue her. And the level even leads you to Coruscant Underworld. Keep in mind, that was way before the Clone Wars. I mean, probably way before there was even an idea for the Clone Wars TV show. I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of expanded universe stories already that had Coruscant Underworld, or even if not, then I'm certain that in George Lucas' mind, the Coruscant Underworld did very much exist. But still, yes, you do visit Coruscant Underworld, or the story of Jar Jar Binks actually being tried for treason against the Gungans, which didn't happen in the movie. I mean, he was supposed to be tried, but then Qui-Gon Jinn just negotiated with Boss Nass, but here it's different. Here Jar Jar does get imprisoned in the game, and Obi-Wan Kenobi has to embark on a mission to rescue him, and it is a nice welcome addition to the game. It wouldn't work for a movie format, but it works perfectly for a game format. In a movie, it would only slow down the pacing, but for a game, it adds an extra unique level to the game and makes sense for gameplay purposes. The look of this game, especially this version of it, is admittedly pretty bad, actually. I mean, it's an old look, but still, the PC version that I played in my childhood looked much better. It's clear that this is the game that's clearly not suited for PS4 and PS5 and for the large screens that those consoles are meant to be played on. So yes, if you asked me if I recommend that game, I certainly don't recommend buying it on PS4 or PS5. I mean, I could recommend it though if you have an older PC though, but again, this actually might be very much nostalgia speaking. Still, this is what the PC version of the game looks like, the one I spent a lot of my childhood playing. From a pure objective standpoint, it still looks much better than the PlayStation version that I've played to review this game for you guys. While it's still clear it's a very old game, objectively, the character models look a lot more clean and clear. The game is semi-open world because it's very low budget and it's a pretty old game. It hardly seems like an open world now, but especially Tatooine levels, like going around all over Mos Espa and exploring and trading around with local merchants, and there is even a small side quest where a mother asks you to save her son who was kidnapped. Sometimes it does feel like the game wasn't complete actually. Like in the second Mos Espa level, you're supposed to talk to Watto while the entrance to this area is closed off. Technically, you aren't supposed to be there until you're done talking with Watto, at which point a thief steals Anakin's pod racing parts and you chase after him, which concludes with a boss battle with a scavenger. That said, if you skip Watto and jump there at the bottom, you can encounter a scavenger outside of his building and he will sell you a blaster. I mean, you could in the PC version of the game, because in this version, again, I presume a PlayStation 1 version, you just die if you jump down there. I did try to get to him by killing these guys who blocked the exit, and I did get to him but didn't get a chance to talk to him because got a game over. Padme has been killed. I mean, I don't know how, she's like at a completely different spot from you and these guys, but whatever. Clearly, if you kill these blocking guys, the game is over. Like, you're obviously not supposed to be there until after talking with Watto. So, yes, the only way to talk to the scavenger selling weapons is in the PC version where you jump at the bottom without talking to Watto, because here in this version you just die in there. Though, if you do jump down there, you are locked out of completing the quest because now there is no way to talk to Watto. Which means that if you follow the game as it is supposed to, you just won't meet the scavenger at this point. You're only gonna meet him later as a boss. Still, pretty clear that in some parts the game clearly wasn't finished. The gameplay, at least on the PlayStation version that I've been playing to review this game for you folks, is not really comfortable actually. It's actually pretty clunky. I remember on the PC it was actually way more comfortable, but then again it's been many years since I've played the PC version, but still it was sometimes pain to get through to finish this game. Like for example, because of the PlayStation controls, sometimes like the camera goes around everywhere and the character isn't going in the right direction. Like for example, at narrow bridges like that, it's actually pretty easy to fall off if you just are playing the PlayStation version actually, which is the one again I played to get this review for you, because I remember the PC version being much more comfortable and much better playable. But then again, it admittedly has been many years since I played the PC version. And The fighting is also pretty outdated. As a kid, I did like it a lot. Like, the game is very hard actually, like it often takes multiple hits to defeat a single enemy, including droids. Yep, droids who should technically be defeated with one lightsaber slash, whereas enemies do plenty of damage with one hit. Enemies are generally droids, or mercenaries, or bandits from Mos Espa, though you do technically can kill anyone in the game really, we'll get to it later actually. And there is also a weapon variety in this game. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon both get lightsabers, but there is also a blaster, a bazooka, a grenade, or a Gungan blue ball. Blasters tend to be helpful when fighting long-range enemies, and you can deflect droid shots with your lightsaber, though it did age badly. It almost looks like deflecting a ball with a baseball bat. The game also has boss battles, who are a pretty welcome addition in the game. Again, very difficult bosses, and make bosses in From Software games a complete cakewalk actually, and as a result, in order to defeat those bosses, I do tend to cheese around them, something that in the From Software games I could never bring myself doing, but here actually cheesing bosses, if you can of course, seems like the best option. Like the first boss is this monster from an aforementioned side quest in Mos Espa, where you are rescuing a kid and delivering him to his mother. As a kid, I called this boss a Meduki, but honestly, it seems more like a brown version of a Wampa, actually. Whatever it is, it's very hard, and I generally just cheese it by jumping on the cage, and then it just becomes a breeze because this Wampa can't really do anything to you as you're standing on the cage. Next boss is an even larger monster in the arena that Jabba the Hutt sends after Qui-Gon, and totally something Jabba the Hutt would do, like what a gangster. And then there is this aforementioned scavenger, whom is also best way to cheese just by standing in the back and shoot at him, and he won't really do anything, although those guns that keep popping up might do a little bit. And then there is a leader of the Coruscant mercenaries in Captain Panaka mission, and finally, of course, to nobody's surprise, Darth Maul, whom you can defeat in various ways. I mean, at least in the PC version, but as it turned out in this PlayStation version I played, you could only beat him the traditional way by engaging him in a lightsaber duel. But in the PC version, I remember that was my favorite way of beating him actually, was to force push him into the pit. Certainly the most movie accurate version, but also the shortest. And we all know Darth Maul is no longer dead anyway, and still the amount of bosses in this game is good enough, and the freedom to beat them is pretty impressive. Well, like I already said, you can say there is a particularly big enemy variety in this game, but actually, you can actually kill random NPCs in this game. Like, the amount of freedom of killing random NPCs in this game is just insane. Like, you can even kill innocent children. Can you imagine? Even GTA didn't let you do something like that. But granted, there are no children in the GTA, at least not wandering around on the street. But here, you can literally kill an innocent child on Tatooine.
Next, mister.
Yeah, Qui-Gon, you totally deserved it, like, because yeah, I don't generally kill children, I only did now for demonstration, but that's why I killed off Qui-Gon immediately afterwards. But yes, as I said, you can practically kill anybody in this game, including even main characters, but generally you will get a game over if you do. Unless a character doesn't affect the story, because and also in the first Tatooine level, there will be consequences for killing civilians, and Anakin will refuse to help you, which locks you out of completing the level.
I won't help a murderer like you.
And whole Mos Espa will gang up on Qui-Gon and eventually kill him. As a kid, I admit, I did frequently go on a killing spree in Mos Espa. Like, I always found it so fun. Always ended up dead sooner or later, but later on a Coruscant level, Mas Ameda shows up, though in the credits he's only named Citizen, and you're technically supposed to talk to him and get tickets, but you can just shoot him dead and you will get tickets for free. I shoot him always. I mean, he's an asshole after all, haha. That's not canon, obviously, but come on, this game hardly is canon anyway. Or, in the last level where you play as Padme Amidala, you're supposed to capture Newt Gunray, like in the movie, and he will summon droids, but again, you can just shoot him dead and completely skip the fighting and you will proceed to the next level. And yes, I do that as well. Like, I mean, it's Newt Gunray, come on. Still, it's an insane wonder how much freedom you could get away in video games these days. These days, I no longer do that. I mean, I still always kill Mas Ameda and Newt Gunray though. I mean, these guys do deserve it. Same thing with all of Jabba's court and Jabba himself. But unfortunately, if you kill Jabba the Hutt, then all his guards will gang up on you and kill you soon, so that's not possible either. But I do kill members of Jabba's court if I don't fail the game, I do kill them. Speaking of Jabba's court, the game does make quite a few references to the original trilogy especially on Tatooine. Like, because Jabba does make an appearance in the movie The Phantom Menace, but only as a cameo of watching the pod racing, but here we see his whole court, similar to the Return of the Jedi, and the Tatooine guards originally actually intended to be the Garmorian guards, but for copyright reasons were replaced with these gray-skinned guys, although weird considering the game makes so many references to the original trilogy already, so it's confusing why the Garmorian guards were considered copyright of all things, but whatever. And also in many ways, Mos Espa actually feels much closer to Mos Eisley than the Mos Espa from the movie actually. And as I already said, while we are discussing the game as a whole, but I've been saying that the version I used for this game is the PS4, PS5 version, so... and I presume that it's modeled after the PlayStation 1 version, and let me tell you, it's clear that the PlayStation 1 version was so much more limited from the PC version. I mean, I already used several examples in this review already, but... and I have another example, like these giant dinosaur things on Tatooine, well, you can't kill them here. And newsflash, in the PC version, which is the version I spent my childhood playing, you could very easily kill those things with just few lightsaber slashes, but clearly not here though. Again, I don't do that anymore anyway, just did kill few civilians for demonstration of this review. Although I admit, sometimes it is kind of tempting to be killing some NPCs because, like, if you can, it's just tempting not to do when you can just easily without consequences. So, the question you're probably asking is, would I recommend Star Wars The Phantom Menace, the video game? Well, if you are a newcomer, then probably not actually, even if you're a die-hard Star Wars fan. That said, if you've been playing this game a lot like I did in childhood, then I do think it can actually be pretty nice to relieve some of your old memories, even if it's only for nostalgia purposes. Though again, as I've been saying, the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 digital version is very clunky and very uncomfortable to play. The PC version was much better, but then again, it's been many years since I actually played the PC version, but from what I remember, yeah, it's much more comfortable to play. Again, I still do think there are things to enjoy in this game, but objectively, it's one of those games I say it has indeed aged very badly, and I certainly would not recommend it to anybody who hasn't played it before. But if you're like me and this is the game you've been playing in your childhood, then I do think it's pretty nice to relive your childhood memories of just playing the hell out of Star Wars The Phantom Menace, the video game. But it's certainly not the game that I would recommend to any people who haven't played it in their childhood, even if you are a hardcore Star Wars fan. So, overall, this is my ultimate opinion and retrospective on Star Wars The Phantom Menace, the video game. So, thank you all of you for checking out this video. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to you soon in another video. And may the Force be with you!